Ramadan is the one in which the Quran was sent down. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. The first thing Allah wants you to think about when you think of Ramadan is not pakode, it's not samosa, it's not the ketchup, it's not the fries, it's not the sleeping during the Taraweeh. Wallahu Akbar. You're the only guy standing up. Everybody else is in ruku, you're like... Then there are people who do extra long sajda, not because they're in khushu', because they're like, come on. That's not what you think about when you think about Ramadan. Quran is telling you, when you think about Ramadan, you will have to think about what? First and foremost, the fact that the Quran, the greatest gift of Allah, the fulfillment of the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam, was given to you in this month. The promise was fulfilled in this month. Let's just stop here and think about that for a second. If I just talked about this the rest of the night until Fajr, I wouldn't stop. But I'll give you at least a couple of things to think about. Ibrahim alayhi salam made this dua where? Where? How many people with him? One. Was there a camera? Microphones? I have 8 microphones on right now. I feel like a Terminator right now. Like, come with me if you want to live. Like, I'm so equipped right now. But anyway, you know, if Ibrahim alayhi salam, how many media people were there? How many microphones? Any writers? Any documentation? Any? Nothing? Nobody there? How many people? 2. In a very populated city? In the middle of a desert, burning rock, in a place that no human being in their right mind would ever want to go. If it was not for the Kaaba, you are not going to take a vacation in Makkah. I guarantee you. There's only one cubic building there that makes it a reason to go. Otherwise, there is no reason to go there. I mean, definitely not the cab drivers. There's no reason to go there. There's no reason to be there. It's not for the weather, definitely. Now sometimes I wonder, why didn't Allah put the Kaaba in California? It would have been so much nicer. You could go there, enjoy the beach, and do tawaf, and have a break. It's nice weather, Nope. He put this in the one place that if it wasn't for that building, you would never go there. Why? Because Allah wants ikhlas. If it was in a beautiful place, you would go there for 2 reasons. Yeah? If it was in a place with a lot of nice weather, you would go there for 2 reasons. When you go to Makkah, you only go for what? 1 reason and 1 reason and 1 reason only. Man. It's hikmah of Allah that He chose that place. Khair, Ibrahim alayhi salam is by himself. He makes that prayer. Who remembers that prayer? His son. Were they able to pass down that prayer to their children? No. Because a few generations later, what did those children become? Idol worshippers. So that dua, nobody even remembers it. And maybe the other side remembers it. Who's the other side? Bani Israel. Maybe they remember it. No, they don't want to remember it. Because they only like to remember which part of the family? Their side of the family. They don't like the cousin too much. Yes? So now, that dua has disappeared. No human being on the earth knows that dua. Those were just some words said by a man and his son in the middle of an unknown place in a valley, and those words die. Just like when you say things, there are sound waves and they disappear. But then those sound waves traveled across the 7 skies, and they were heard on the arsh of Allah. And those words were then echoed back in the coming of the Quran. And this Quran came in that same desert, didn't it? It came in that same place where the dua was made, didn't it? So the place where the dua was made and the place where the dua was answered is the same place, yes or no? Now, when this Quran came, Makkah, was that like a really advanced society? No. The Romans were an advanced society. The Persians were an advanced society. The Chinese were an advanced society. The Indians had an ancient civilization. Every other nation of the world had universities, had learning institutions, had infrastructure, had empire, had civilization, had libraries. The only nation I can think of that is geographically connected to all of that but has no intellectual history to speak of other than their poetry is who? The Arabs of that land. All they have is a legacy of shirk now. They didn't even remember the legacy of their father Ibrahim. They don't. And Allah gave this book in that place. In that place. Imagine today somebody says, I want to get a higher education. I should go to the Aborigines in Australia. Or I should go to some village in Pakistan where they don't even have brick housing. That's where I should get a higher education. Who would think of that? The highest education ever given to humanity was given there, to those people. You know how low the world thought of that region? The Romans, you know about, if you study Roman history, Romans love to advance their territory. The one place they were not interested in is what? Arabia. Why should we send our soldiers to get barbecued in the middle of the sand? There's no oil yet. There's no reason to go. The Persians left them alone. The Abyssinians left them alone. Everybody left them alone because it wasn't worth it. And then in this land, Allah gives this book. Even if you give a book here, who's going to read it? These people that herd animals, these Bedouins, that's it? Where's it going to go? And look at the word of Allah. Look at the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He said that this house that he's building, people should have a love for this house in all corners of the world. وَإِذْ جَعَلْنَا الْبَيْتَ مَثَابَةً لِلنَّاسِ لَا لِلْعَرَبِ لِلنَّاسِ. This book spread outside that little desert, and it spread so far and wide that the vast majority of you sitting in the audience today are not ethnically connected to that desert or that family. The only thing that brought you to this masjid is that book. And you know what? The only thing that brought me and you here is the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. That's the power of dua. Allah says, شَهْرُ رَمَضَانَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ فِيهِ الْقُرْآنِ. When you remember the Qur'an was given in that instant, in that month, you know what you're remembering? How much Allah can change the world with dua. The map of the world looks different because of the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. 1/5 of the world's population says La ilaha illallah and growing because of the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So how dare a Muslim underestimate the power of dua? And they believe in Ramadan. He says Hudal linnas. It is guidance for people. Quran is guidance for people. Tell me, when was this ayah given? Anybody know? Is Surah Al-Baqarah a Makki surah or a Madani surah? Huh? It's a Madani surah, which means the Quran has been coming for a long time, which means the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, have been students of the Quran for a long time. And they all know that Quran is guidance for humanity. They already know that. It's basic information, isn't it? So when you are in Medina, we should get more advanced knowledge. We should not get basic knowledge. And yet Allah says the most basic thing, the month of Ramadan is the one in which Quran was sent down as guidance for humanity. Why are we being told something so basic? Because in this month, it's like you start all over again, like you don't even know this Quran. You recite it like you've never recited it before. You reflect on it like you've never reflected on it before. You memorize it like you've never memorized it before.